So in today's video we're going to be making a map in under 1 hour and under 10 hours. Now there's two rules. Both maps have to be low poly simulator themed and I can't go over the time limit. Now with that being said, let's get into it. So firstly I'm going to start modeling some mountains for the map. Now I already know this challenge will be insanely difficult, especially the 1 hour one, because I like to get all my assets perfect. I really should have spent less time making these assets and more time on the map layout and getting a few more things done. But once I started importing the mountains, they looked pretty cool and I was happy with it. I started laying them all out and the final thing turned out pretty cool. So next I'm probably going to work on some assets and import them over. So the first thing I modelled was this beautiful looking tree. Then I started to move on to some grass models and eventually some rock models. I was just listing things most simulator maps have and importing them over and trying to make the map just look nice overall. So I looked at my timer and I realised I only had 20 minutes left, and then I looked at my map and I realised there wasn't much done whatsoever. So I really had to speed things up a little bit. So I started working on some of the final assets with only 10 minutes left on the timer, and I really started to panic. And like I said before, I wish I got more done and spent less time on the assets, but overall it turned out pretty cool, and here's the final build. Okay, and here we go. So we got like a nice little statue over here, can be anything you want, maybe the best player on the leaderboard. If we go over here, we got some global leaderboards, and I wanted to add, you know, some portals, maybe a few shops, but I just didn't think there was enough time, so I focused a bit more on the mountains and that kind of stuff. Okay, now we're going to move on to the 10-hour map. And make sure you stick around because this one will be incredible. So the first thing I did was I created a new base player, and then I inserted a part which was going to be the main area. Now the style for this simulator map was going to be very similar to the 1 hour build, except I was going to make it way more detailed and look a lot better. So I started working on this circle and I imported it. I also inserted an NPC to scale everything up correctly, and then I started working on some actual mountains. So I just imported the mountains and I started moving them around the map, scaling them and rotating them. And I wanted this map to be more open world, so I added some mountains in the background along with some rocks and sand, and it was actually coming along really nice. Now I started working on a portal for the map, and it was actually coming along a lot better than what I thought it would. I did some small details like these vines and the rock on the top of it. Now I was about 5.5 hours into building this map and it was coming along really nice. As you can see, I worked on a nice castle and I worked on some smaller assets like grass, little mushrooms and some trees. So my plan was to just carry on building some mountains to surround the map and fill it in more. At this point I started working on a simple egg stand for the map and I thought it was coming along pretty cool, so I went ahead and imported that over. Now as you can see here, the map was really coming along. I had added some assets around the map, I had filled it in a bit more, and I added some simple details like the textures and these fences. And if you haven't already, make sure you leave a like and subscribe because this video took 11 hours to record and even longer to edit. But with that being said, let's carry on. So as you can see, I'm just moving some mountains around, added some more. I'm just really trying to fill the map in. And as you can see, I added them egg stands from earlier. I also added them on the mountain, so the players have to jump on the mountains in order to get to the eggs. At this point, I only had around 2 hours left to finish the map, but it was coming along really good and I was loving the way it looked. And at this point I only had around an hour left, so I carried on adding some smaller assets like the fences, some rocks, just around the map, just to make it look even better. When I thought I was nearly done, I started organising a workspace because my workspace was an absolute mess. So I moved all the map assets into one folder, organised everything, and it was coming along really good. There was only 2 minutes left on my timer. Luckily, I only had to do one more thing, which was add this massive statue of myself in the middle of the map. I didn't really know what to add, so I just thought I'd go with a statue, and when I finished that, the timer was pretty much up. And after 10 whole hours, we have finally finished this entire map. Now, in my opinion, this looks pretty cool. Definitely. I've definitely made better maps, but this is actually pretty good. Especially for doing it in under 10 hours or in 10 hours. If we go over here, we got like a castle. I think I could have improved this. Not the biggest fan of it, but you know, I didn't have much time. If we go over here, we got some eggs. These are pretty cool. I quite like the stands for these. The little cost can go here as a display. If we go over here, we have the portal. Now I remember I spent loads of time on the portal alone. So I definitely like this portal. If we go over here, we have the global leaderboards. I definitely like the stands of these two because it displays a different color, different model for the higher up ranks. And in the middle we just have a random statue I wanted to add because it looked pretty empty. But overall, you know, I think it looks pretty good. There's definitely a lot of assets too, like we got the lamps, we got the fences, the little mushrooms, grass, rocks, mountains in the background. But yeah, I definitely think this map looks pretty cool. So a quick disclaimer, I will be selling this map. Now I will be selling this map for 7,500 Robux or $25. Now if you're interested in buying it, you can always message me on my Discord. And yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe because it took literally 10 hours alone just to record this. I hadn't even started on editing. In fact, if this video goes unreleased, it's because I'm too lazy to do editing. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.